Okay, got a drone from a company I've not come across before. I'm probably going to pronounce this all right. It looks like Xiang. Not come across them, like I say. Nice, basic, simple drone. Now, I like simple things. It's funny, that's what the wife said just before we got married as well, about liking simple things. Not too sure where that was going, but anyway. This one comes in 3 different guises. I haven't managed to find it on the web yet with the cameras, but it's basically going to come with a 0.3 or a 2 megapixel, but this is a real basic one, so it's just purely flies. That's all it does. So a great learning machine, I think. It's got brilliant LEDs all the way around, and it's really robust. I mean, you are not going to damage this at all. Great little indoor flyer, or it's a reasonable size. It will fly outside okay. Got a little bit of breeze around the garden, so that will give it a little bit of a test. Really simple setup. Nice little small transmitter, so literally all you got to do is just carry that with you if you're out and about. Charges up its little 450 milliamp hour single cell, and it's a lossy micro adapter connector there, sorry, and there's loads of room in the battery bay area, so you could get a slightly bigger battery in there, a 500 or a 600 if you wanted, or they do 480 sorry at this side, and you could buy about 4 or 5 of these and a multi-charger for about a tenner. I'll put a link down in description for you. If you're just sitting with the one that it comes with, there's nothing wrong with this at all. Simply charges with a USB. Plug that into there, and then plug that into any USB charger. So that could be a power bank if you're out and about, your car, laptop, computer, or your mains adapter. And the LED, there's no LED on it when it's charging. When it's fully charged, you get a bright red LED on it, so you know it's fully charged. And then you should disconnect. They recommend don't leave these on charge. And that's the same with any LiPo battery. And also try and stay around it while it's charging as well. You get a couple of spare props. Now you might think usually you get 4 spare props. Honestly, I don't know how on earth you'd ever get in there. These are really solid. These are not going to break. I'm pretty sure. I hope I don't break them during the demo. And if I do, then I will explain what happened. But they are really robust. I'm squeezing this like mad, and it's doing nothing at all. So it's a real good beginner's quad, I would say, is what it's aimed at. Little small instructions, and they actually work. The instructions are really good, and I'm going to run through everything it covers on here anyway. Calls out all the calls out on the transmitter, and we do that next. So really nice little package. I think it's about 12-14 quid at the moment. There's an offer on at the moment with them, and I'll put a link down in the description obviously, so you can go and have a look. It only flies in mode 2, which means this is your throttle here. So if we push that up, the quad will ascend. Pull it down, the quad will descend. If we push it to the right, the quad will yaw to the right, or basically turn, but that's called yawing with quads, and it will yaw to the left as well. Now, none of these are points of the compass, so you could go slightly up and be rotating as well. At the same time, you've got a direction stick on this side, so just swap over. So forward is forward, and this is the front of the quad here. So it's sort of a plain looking quad with its cockpit and everything there. So it's forwards like that, backwards, and that's called pitching, and then you roll to the right and roll to the left. And again, you can be going at angles or at anything like, you know, and a combination of both the sticks, that's basically flying to me. That's the bit I really like, is when you're putting it all together. You've got a flip button, so you simply press that and then choose what direction you want to flip, and it will do just a complete flip right, roll right over. This does nothing here, it's just a cover. This one here alters the rates. It always starts in low rates, and you've got 3 rates. Press it, it goes into second rates, then into third rates, and that will alter the pitch. So in low rates, it's probably doing that. Intermediate, about that, I would have thought, and then high rates is about that. It's not going to be a fast, anxious flyer with the design of it for sure. You've got headless mode on this one, and if we bind it up like this, and I'll show you how we bind up in a second, it totally ignores then where the front of the quad is. So in headless mode, once you press this, forward is always away from you, no matter what angle the quad's at. Right is always right, so that's roll to the right and roll to the left, and then backwards towards you. And again, not point to the compass. So and you can be spinning this as you're just going forward as well. So that's called headless mode. Some beginners like headless mode. I've never ever been that bothered, never found a real use for it sort of thing. I'd rather fly knowing this is the front of the quad. So when I pitch forward, it's always forward, whatever way it's facing. But it's there if you want it. It's got a return to home, which won't actually be a lot of good. That's this one here. And because it hasn't got GPS, it doesn't actually know where home is, but I'll do a quick test of it to show you as well. You've got your trim buttons all around here. You've got your on and off here on your slider. This one here is if you've got the one with the photo and the video, and you take your stills and your video with this one. And this one here is an auto takeoff, auto land. And if you notice, the sticks come back to center, which means that it's got altitude hold as well. So I've already charged the battery up. I'm just going to pop that in there. And like I say, you've got loads of room in the battery here. battery bay area. You could get a slightly bigger one in, no trouble at all. With this model, they recommend you turn on the transmitter first of all. You've got a little flashing LED and it's pulsing away like mad until we actually bind up. And you have got an on-off switch on this, so it's nice. You can leave the battery connected if you like, and then just simply turn that on. And as I say, even in this bright light, you can see those LEDs. They're really good. So we've still got flashing LEDs here and flashing LEDs on the actual quad itself. If I go up and down on the throttle, oh, I think I actually could have got away with just going up, and on some of the models you can do that. And then the LEDs have gone solid. I'm hoping I can show you that. There we go. So you can really see that now. And also this has gone solid as well. To calibrate the gyro on it, and I suggest you do that first time out, or if you've had a crash or anything, literally put it on somewhere level. Don't move it while you're doing it. And I'm just going to put the shadow across it so you can actually see. And then you pull the two sticks down and in, and you get flashing LEDs, and that means it's calibrated the gyro. It doesn't mention it in the actual instruction, but you can actually start this one by pulling two sticks down and out, and it will just put the motors into idle, so you don't have to use the auto takeoff if you don't want. And then we're up and away. Like I say, there's a slight breeze in the garden, and it's just going to drift along down there. It's a nice gentle flyer, like I say. This is in low rates. Well, that looks pretty good actually. Nice little flyer. So I'm going to pop it into intermediate. There we go. Hey, that is nice actually. And then that's up into high rates. Whoa, that thing gets a bit of a shift on for a little tiny little thing. Like I say, I do like simple. And this thing is going to be totally robust, so just bang it into the side of me. There we go, absolutely no problem at all. I'm not going to do any damage with it at all. The only thing you might do is muck up the gyro if you hit something, like I say, you can recalibrate that. But literally, yeah, all it's doing is the gyro is just trying to compensate for that. As long as you give it some throttle, it seems to recover all right. Yep, absolutely no chance of any damage with it. Perfect. Nice. See how we do with the flipping? Oh, nice little flip, really fast. Whoa, and in all directions. So press this, point what direction you want it to flip in. Now we can't do manual flips with this purely because it's altitude hold, so we can't actually turn the throttle right the way off, sort of thing. But precise, it should be pretty precise, I would have thought. There we go. And like I say, with altitude hold, works pretty good. So it's just holding high, the breeze is just catching it, as you can see. Really nice. Okay, I'll try headless mode for you. So it's that one there. Just remember what way I bound up. So I actually bound up that way, so that's forward and backwards. And as you can see, the quad is actually facing that way. So, and even behind us, backwards is still that way. So even if I turn around, this is why I find headless mode a bit confusing, because now I'm pushing that way, but because we bound it that way, that's the way it goes. I've never found a use for headless mode, but it's there, and some beginners like it because you can sort of go out, round, back, and then back in again. Just not my bag, really. You've got the return to home, so home is there, so I'm going to press the button, and it's going that way. So the only way return to home works if you actually fly it straight out from where you took off from, basically. So I'm just literally going to fly that out there. And now if I hit return to home, it comes back to home, but watch what happens. Just goes belting through. I didn't touch anything there, and it would just keep going until the battery runs out or till you lose signal. And let's quick check for range. I know that's going to be 40 meters there. Whoa, yeah, easy. Yep, definitely 40 meters, 50 meters. Yep. Well, I know from that spot there I'm 50 meters, and that's to that hedge, so that is exactly where it is. Hey, let's get a shift on. Nice. And those LEDs, I can actually see them in this bright light, and it's quite amazing. At night it's going to be awesome, so I would definitely come out and do a night flight. The only thing I will warn you, we're in the middle of summer in the Highlands, and that means we don't actually go fully dark. I know things in the Arctic Circle, the sun never sets, but we're not far off. We only get about 2 or 3 hours of it, so you can see that how well that's holding now we're out of the breeze. And it's nice if you're new to learning, keep it in low rates, and that is low rates. Nice and precise little flyer. Yeah, lovely. Whoa, I slammed the throttle right off there. Let's do the auto takeoff bit. So just simply press this one here, primes the motors, comes up, probably best part of a metre there, and then the breeze has just caught it again. To land, you can either just bring it in, throttle off, and that will land it. And that's the nice thing is you can hand launch as well, just by using the auto takeoff button. If you use the land button, it will just come in, you can choose where it wants to go. If you want to cancel it, just give it a bit of throttle. That breeze is getting a bit stronger. Woo! Ah, no, it's because I didn't repress it, it still wanted to land, even though I gave it some throttle. So, okay. Hey, you can even throw it and launch it, which is cool. I don't mention that. And again, all I did there was press the land button, put my hand underneath, so you don't even have to play around with any of the controls. It's quite good. Nice and safe, like I say, just make sure if you're a little and you don't put your fingers in there. But honestly, these props are really flexible. I really don't think you would do any damage at all. Let's just see whether I can. Yeah, you can just sort of lob it and then press the launch button. It's quite good. I like it. I like the basic ones. I've got all the big toys and the racers and everything else, and they're great when you can fly. But when you want to learn to fly, you want something that's 10, 15 quid. You can have a bit of a go with it, and if it goes wrong, it doesn't matter too much. You won't be too upset about it if anything happens to it. And also, you're not learning with anything that's dangerous or going to hurt anyone. So this thing certainly wouldn't hurt anyone. Yeah, oh, that's on full pitch. You can see the breeze that's coming into it can only just about cope in low rates. So that's into intermediate, and that's into high. I like high rates, it's nice. Whoa. It is really nice. I'm getting a really nice long flight out of this. Now normally some of the little ones, you're lucky if you get a couple of minutes sort of thing. Doing a bit of rock and roll with it as well. Actually, if you give it a huge stick inputs in high rates, you can really make it shift. It's quite nice. Yeah, it's not like a 250 racer or or any of the other stuff or the brushless stuff, but I tell you what, for a beginner, that would be more than fast enough. Nice. God, it descends really fast as well. Now that's unusual with altitude hold. So actually, what I'm going to do is pop it up. I'm enjoying this. You can tell, can't you? This reviewing is such hard in this weather. So I'm going to pull the throttle right off. Look, see that? That's really fast descent. Some of them, descend really slowly. And if you've got an updraft or a breeze anywhere, you sometimes can't get them back out of the sky, which which can be a bit awkward. And they will just float away. Yeah. So let's just see. I've not tried this, so I'm just going to see if I kill the transmitter, what happens. So I've turned the transmitter off. Boom, way. What's that, about a second it took to kill it? So if you go out of range, that's all it will do is just drop like that. And you can see we've now got flashing LEDs, which means we're not bound or anything. So I'm going to turn this on and just see whether I can rebind to it with the copter on first of all. No, it prefers the transmitter on first of all. That's fair enough. So I'm going to turn that off, turn that back on. And then turn on the transmitter. There we go. Yeah, and the LEDs actually changed. There we go. Now we're all ready to go again. And actually, with all these bashes and everything I've done with it, and I've bounced it off the ground and I've hit it and everything, I haven't needed to reset the gyro. Hasn't got a lot of kick out. I wouldn't expect it to. I'm just trying to do a full review here. Oh, there we go. I think that's flashing LEDs because we're actually out of battery. But the actual full throttle is not going to give it a load of lift, but it does fly rather nicely. Just going to give that one last go, but I think we've actually depleted the battery. And I wouldn't be at all surprised because that was a really good flight there. So it's up and down on the throttle to get it to bind again. Oh, yeah, so that's it actually dead. So we get flashing LEDs just when the battery's really running out sort of thing. But like I say, all this thing will do is just fall and bounce. I really like that. I've enjoyed that. I'll do a night flight, but like I say, doing a night flight at this time of year in the Highlands is actually quite difficult. You'd have to be up around midnight, between midnight and sort of 3 o'clock in the morning. There is virtually no sun, but there's still light. I mean, I've walked around at midnight, no problem at all. But I really like that if you're a beginner or someone that just wants something simple to take around, or you want to fly with your grandkids like I do, or kids or anything. Absolutely superb fun and really nice and safe, and definitely a good, great little indoor fly. So take a look at the night footage and see what you think. Okay, another problem we have in the Highlands is look at the time. We're just coming up on 11 o'clock and at night obviously, and it's still really light and it's reasonably overcast as well, so that's how much light. As you can see, the clouds and everything up there, we are that overcast. That I'm trying to actually show how brilliant this thing is at night, but I actually haven't got anywhere dark enough to show it at night. I mean, I could fly indoors I suppose, but hey, it's so beautiful and it's still really bright out here and light and warm, so I really just want to come out here and fly. So let's give it a go. Well, I've enjoyed having you along on this flight, and I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.